Be Dragon Lucky. The show will begin momentarily.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win. We choose to go to the moon.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky. This is episode 89, 0x89. It is Hex. It's the 139th episode. Reminder, nothing on this show is financial advice. Stay tuned after the updates for our weekly AMA. We do have a lot of updates this week, so we'll probably just do the top three, but we'll see, I guess. First, the number go up segment. First of all, I wanted to talk about number go up-ism. That we started this segment over a year ago, I believe. In fact, if anybody can find the first segment and post it to the Dragonchain lair, I'll give you 10,000 lore if you can find the first number go up segment. Maybe with the YouTube link, but whichever link is available. 10,000 lore, that's a contest, right? Or put it in a contest layer. Either way, whatever you want to do. But we started this segment to bring light to the fact that the entire crypto industry seems to focus solely on the number, and it's probably unbalanced that there is more focus on the number or the numbers involved and we're not talking about the fundamentals, like say the adoption numbers or transactions in a day or anything like that. And in my opinion, because of that, we're not as well positioned as we should be as an industry to be seen as the answer to the great problems of the day. The answer that I at least think that this technology is. We need to focus on fundamentals and working towards a comprehensive new way to do things that this technology makes possible. And again, a lot of people disagree, but in my opinion, that it permeates everything, that you can use this technology in a lot of places that people still don't quite understand. But one way or another, the fact that the technology is sourced from, comes from a need for liberty, for ownership, for individual sovereignty, that basically people today have lost, and it's a very interesting thing that software can bring that with these patterns that were started back with Satoshi's white paper. And this, in my opinion, is the answer to why has Bitcoin not hit six figures yet? I mean, I had assumed it would be at seven figures by now, and not because the number, but because what we saw in Canada with the banks and the government basically stealing people's money in various ways and for various political reasons. And it's one of those things that when that happens, you have a senator, multiple senators, you have multiple Congress people, you have multiple celebrities calling out how Bitcoin, as an example, in this very case, solves this big issue that most normal people, normies, hadn't realized, because most of them only hear about number go up on the evening news when there's a bull run or something. Oh my gosh, those people are getting rich. I wish I would have gotten in back then. But that's not really what it's about. that is just a measure of how powerful the tech is. So anyway, the sooner we explain why this tech promises to make a better life, the sooner the number will actually go up. That's it. I don't have any numbers to report today, but I just, thinking about it recently, it's very frustrating. So anyway, next, Dragonchain updates. So first up, we did get a Cointelegraph article published as a part of the, that's a crazy GIF, right? As a part of the Cointelegraph Innovation Circle. We are going to ask them the significance of the ant and the significance of the character. If that's supposed to be me, we think that the ant means interchain. It seems like or interoperability. We think that anytime they post something, an article with interop involved, that they use an ant. I don't know. We're going to ask though. But it's I think a very appropriate article and fitting, because I do think that DAOs are going to be, I hope they're going to be very important this year and in the coming years. But I think that we might have a few instances this year where DAOs do things to open up people's eyes in the real world in ways that weren't possible before. And everything we're doing on Den, for example, and with a few other projects in Dragonchain, seeks to answer that, make it easier for people to use the DAO or to start a DAO or to get normies involved in bigger ways. So that's what we're focused on. I'll have a couple more updates about that later as well. So go retweet the article, share it wherever you can. If you can, it would be helpful. We did get a mention of Den in there, and obviously Dragonchain is mentioned throughout. So go check it out, go read it, let us know what you think. Hopefully you like it. Let's see here. In other news on Dragonchain, do get your Den.Social account now if you don't have one. We are going to be moving all conversations, all discussions from Telegram official channels into Den. There will obviously be some non-official channels, some of which are kind of toxic, but they're still there. And, we don't own them anyway, and we never have owned them. So it's all good. Those will, of course, remain in Telegram. The official channels will convert to announcement channels. They won't go away. They will be essentially a place that people can go in, and we will be pushing articles or potentially even quoting conversations from Den into there, depending upon what works. So we're going to try that out. Get your Den account now. That may act. We wanted to wait for a chat, and that is coming soon. And we might flip the switch on this whole thing in the next few days, depending upon how the testing goes on the chat system. So get your Den account now, just in case. Now we go to Den.Social updates. So first up, StickyDow, an announcement where they are partnering with Den.Social for governance tooling and crypto rewards. Very interesting post by StickyDow, both in Den, in the StickyDow layer. Go and subscribe now. It might be important, might be there might be very good things coming in there that you'll want to see. And go check out the article that they posted on their own blog site, and read through it all, because there's a bunch of stuff in there on how they are using Den.Social. And I'm not going to itemize them, because we'll wait until we have someone on the program or on the roundtable to kind of spell out a lot of the details. But essentially, there will be lot-based ownership that comes with the purchase of one of their NFTs in their collection. There, of course, will be DAO voting based upon those NFTs in their collection. And there are a series of different types of rewards that they're going to be using in their community. It's going to be super cool. They are augmenting their Discord server, which is growing really fast. I think they probably doubled in size in the past couple of months. I don't know if it's 8,000 people or something, but and I know it's going to grow more as some of this stuff develops. They will be joining us on the World Blockchain Roundtable on March 31st. It's going to be perfectly timed because that's our NFT utility themed show for the roundtable. So remember that. We'll of course announce it again, but do go check out the StickyDow post. Do please retweet it, share it, either the Den article or the their main article describing the entire set. So good stuff there. Amazing stuff there. Next, LCP, the layer creation process. So the March 2022 LCP layers, the winners, are now live. I think they went live yesterday. I've already subscribed. You should go and subscribe to the two of them. It's the contest layer and it's the collectibles layer. By the way, I'm probably going to post at least one of us. I'm going to get somebody to do it, or I will if I have time. A new governance issue related to the LCP where we would auto-subscribe people when the new layers are created, so that the new layers get some immediate users. And maybe later that could be a configuration, but without having to do any code, we could probably do that right now. Just auto-subscribe everybody, and then you could unsubscribe if you totally dislike it. But all the layers coming in are very widely subscribed, I guess, that a lot of people have committed lore to them already. So in the very least, anybody who has a lot should auto-subscribe to it. But either way, we'll talk about that. So new this month, let's see here. We had the winners were based upon the top ranked proposal by lore committed, which was the contest layer that had 1.75 million lore committed and 55 unique voters, which means there are 1.75 million lot NFTs that were created in this process. The proposal was made by Decent Crypto in February of 2022. So just a month ago, right? Very fast to move through the ranks there, which is surprising. That's very interesting. And the second layer created was collectibles. It had the first place in unique voters with 1.67 million lore. Therefore, 1.67 million lot NFTs were created. It had 65 unique voters. And Dragon Time, DRG in Time, proposed the layer in December of 2020. So that was over a year ago. So one that was over a year old and one that was about a month old. And the second place in unique voters that was also the contest layer. So we only got two created. There is a vote in the governance for LCPs, and that's active. We'll go over that in a second. Let's see here. We also have an open call. There's a post for the April LCP image. Post your best original image by Tuesday, March 29 at 7 p.m. Universal time code. Be sure to vote on them. I'm actually holding my vote until right before, so I can see them all together. So, do put your images in there. There are already a couple of good ones, I think. So now we go to DenDAO, and we have a few votes up. So the first is a change to the LCP process, a proposal to change the LCP winners to be the top layer as ranked by unique voters, because that's always kind of an obvious. If you have 65 or 90 people wanting a layer, that it should win, it should get created. But because of the horse race stuff and I've been watching that, we've been watching that. The proposal is to have the number 8 and the number 13 by lore committed win, which will mean it'll be very hard to game, because essentially, if you want a certain proposal to win and you have enough lore right now, because we're talking about the top, and in some cases the top few proposals by lore committed, it means all you have to do is get above whatever's below it, and there's no upper bound, so you can kind of blow out the amount of lore attached to that, and it gets created. And it's if we move down to number 8 and number 13, and the reason those numbers were there is because of the amount of lore committed. And this is you read the proposal. It's essentially an experiment to see how this will affect what is essentially a horse race that has been there, where the same 2 layers get created on both sides because it's obvious they're going to get created. So anyway, go and vote on that. Let us know what you think. The second is a lore behavior rewards or farming system change, which is what to do with the remaining balance of 2021 lore. We will talk a lot about these, by the way, probably in more detail on the DAO governance call on Thursday, where we can go into whatever detail you guys want if you have questions or anything else. But this is essentially that there's approximately 800 million lore that was not distributed in 2021 because we started late in the year and we didn't have the liquidity pools activated. So please go and vote. There are a bunch of really good options. And I think it's pretty comprehensive, and there's some pretty very interesting options where it could extend well into the future, yet there's still a good amount that would be applied early. So anyway, please go vote. And the last one that is active right now in DenDAO is to change the lore behavior rewards program to add the contest and or lottery system, where essentially options to add 1 or 2 lore pools to the existing lore behavior rewards distribution system, which would change the breakdown of the current lore behavior rewards distribution system. And you can look at the proposed change both by the amount applied and then a description of the 2 types of pools they would be. One is essentially a contest that would be based, that would select the top post or top content, it could be a reply even, by matter rewards every day, and that would get a winning, it would win lore essentially, and it would also the top content for the week would win 7 times what the daily winner would. So you'd effectively have a bunch of daily winners that are competing for that week. And then the top for the month will be 30, 28, whatever, however many days there are in that month, depending on how we do it, will win an even larger prize for their content. So it should help with the content and everything else. And the other possible pool is for a literal lottery that uses Dragonchain's provably fair tech to essentially select from active denizens to give a reward daily, weekly, and monthly as well, lottery. And we think, I think it's written in there that any action that a user takes on the system, whether that is voting, posting, replying, would essentially give them a single entry into that lottery. So it would effectively get people, even if you have lower energy, you would still be able to vote up or down 1 on every piece of content, which would be very helpful for consensus, especially in replies. And it also would incentivize people to reply more and or to post more content. So it's all good. Anyway, that's everything for the DenDAO. If you have any questions, do ask them inside of the governance issue. And even if they're resolved by Thursday, and they might be, I can't remember. I think not, but I can't remember. We will still cover them on the governance show, on the DenDAO governance show. So next, make sure you tune in for tomorrow for Coffee with Den. They would probably also cover any questions in those things, related to some of the governance stuff, because there's some very interesting things. And the Den governance call, or DenDAO call, is Thursday at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, and 7 p.m. UTC, 1900 hours. See the post in the DenDAO layer for the agenda and a link to join live if you want to get on there and ask a question off the cuff or live. You're welcome to join to cover anything regarding Den. It's usually a less a meeting and more a conversation. So next, we'll go to the World Blockchain Roundtable updates. Episode 44 is on Thursday. The topic is decentralized social media platforms. That should be a good one because I actually would like to catch up on a lot of the different platforms that are out there because I've not had time to follow some of them and to see if there are any interesting features that we would want to copy or improve on Den, right? So go leave a question on that topic, leave a question or topic about decentralized social media platforms. Try to keep it to that topic on the weekly post, and please vote on others' replies so that we can sort them. And that's all of that. Make sure you watch and share last week's episode. It was on Layer 2 zero knowledge roll-up solutions. It currently has over 1,600 views. And the more views it gets the first week, the more lot you will get if you got a question answered on the show. So it should be good, and you should want to do that. We're already using the governance. In fact, you can look currently in the governance in the World Blockchain Roundtable, or WBRT layer. This is your last chance to leave your suggestion for April themes. So last call. All entries should be posted by March 23 of this year at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight and 7 p.m. UTC. WBRT lot holders will vote, just so they'll be placed into a governance issue. The lot holders will vote, that's you, and the top 4 will be used for April. If your theme is selected, you will be rewarded lot for that episode. So it's going to be really cool. And make sure you get some good, because there are so many things we can talk about these days. The next is that we had a resolved governance issue for alternate presenter roles between hosts. That is to rotate who reads the welcome, the closeout, the current events, and the questions during the show. And it'll be, probably per show until we decide what we like. We might have somebody just volunteer who's already on the show. Anyway, that's everything. So that's all the updates. We're going to do an AMA right after this.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best. Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. Adaptable approach is palpable if this animal is fallible. But that conclusion is laughable, so with for all detachable from the mandible. You see it now?
All right, now we refresh the screen. So thanks everybody for asking questions already in advance. Okay, first question, and we're going to do 3 because we're 8:25. But we're going to do 3. Jacob Wayne in Dragonchain. Let's see here. There are a few blockchain social media platforms that I am intrigued by, and I'm curious if what we're trying to do is move people away from Web 2 and into the Web 3 space. Is there a way to hold hands across the finish line? In other words, instead of competing with them, there could be ways to interconnect, since Web 3.0 by its nature is to move seamlessly across decentralized platforms in a perfect world. This might be word vomit, but just some thoughts I'm saying out loud onto the web. Okay, so no, I totally agree. It's a little bit of a tough question because like as an example, like what I mentioned earlier, I've not had time to keep up with a lot of the other platforms. I know that I've been interviewed by people who have a lot of their content on Hive. I've used some of what Hive used to be a long time ago, but I've not kept up with what they're looking at or what they're doing or what features they're offering and how things might tie together. I know in our ecosystem that a lot of the platforms that we're currently building in partnership have components where, this is across the board, not just with Den and with social media, that essentially we are integrating Den as an example for all discussion necessary. So rather than rebuilding a system or even copy pasting code, we're instead integrating Den directly in. And there are a couple of platforms you can imagine that would make sense there. But that makes sense. And frankly, whether it is a separate project that would be kind of all encompassing, you could consider it something like, Hootsuite, or I'm trying to think about the Buffer. There are a couple of others where you have one place that you can schedule and post a lot of different things. I don't know. But definitely we're open. Like if anybody has an idea there, I'd be open to hearing it, because that could really be useful. I know we've already considered, and we are using everywhere possible, things like Library, Odyssey, for I guess to augment our video feeds. But I don't know. I haven't put a lot of thought into that. That could be really useful. Things tend to be tribal and overly competitive in crypto, but mostly because the number go up. But still, there has to be something there, right? So I'll think about it. And if you guys can all think about it, and let us know if you have ideas. And as Bit by the Coin mentions, you should post this into the roundtable for this week too, because frankly, this would be a great post for the other hosts on the show to weigh in on. That they might have a great idea. I know Sean is he's in a lot of places that I didn't know, right, with his show. I mean, he's obviously on YouTube, but he has other outlets too. So I'm like, okay, maybe they would be better to answer that, and then I maybe it'll give me an idea. So anyway, next question is Reddit Destroyer. Again, I think the best name and the most appropriate name. By the way, Reddit Destroyer posted a video on YouTube this past week. I don't know how, maybe a couple of days ago, that essentially was kind of a history of Reddit and why and how Reddit is so horrible. And I would suggest that that anybody interested in what Den is all about and why it's there and how it's solving some of these issues that it's attempting to solve, watch that video, because there's some history in there, and there's some things that are maybe a little bit too deep on the history of Reddit. There's some things that might make you vomit in your mouth because it is Reddit, but it is still it kind of outlines a lot of the things that I saw developing in the years prior to deciding to say, hey, why don't we just build something to show that blockchain can solve some of these issues, provided the blockchain is scalable enough, which is Dragonchain. So, and it's an interesting thing because, and it also relates to, if you go back and read Dragonchain's proposal for the Reddit scaling contest, that it was a pre-decided event, kind of like every battle of the bands that there ever has been, that they already knew who was going to win, but it didn't matter. We knew that going in, and we got out a really good paper to describe how it could be solved, and mostly to make it a little bit difficult for them to do what they were doing. Anyway, it's funny. So go watch that. And now we'll get to his question. What industries would most benefit from Dragonchain technology, in your opinion? That's a hard one. I think a lot of people focus on things that are very clean and obvious, and I usually have to make sure that I don't ignore those because they're too obvious. Because I have in the past where there are certain things like supply chain. It's obviously an industry that could benefit greatly from use of blockchain tech. And in my opinion, so far, everywhere that blockchain has been applied, you're thinking about IBM with Hyperledger, and there are a couple of others. It's mostly not been successful, either because it cost them too much to get there, it wasn't scalable enough, or it wasn't flexible enough to integrate in that very complex, extremely complex world in supply chain. I don't know though if I would say that's the most the industry that would most benefit. I mean, I think social media is one of them, as it's obvious now. Obvious financials, and it is, I think, already benefiting from that, from the technology. I think it's ubiquitous. Or it should be ubiquitous. I think everything you touch should have blockchain behind it in the end, but it's going to be important how it is built, and if it's just built for a marketing announcement, or if it's built for fundamental real utility. So here, that was, let's see here. So that was number 2, right? So the next question, Josh O. Any plans on the ability to view profile pics and having multiple pics in profile view for people to look through? That's interesting. I don't know if we've talked about it. We have talked about expanding the information in the profile, right? So, and that would be making it possible to post your own website as an example, or other links that might make sense. If you have a Medium site where you post stuff, or your LinkedIn, or your Twitter handle, or anything like that. Also, to be able to maybe have a markdown based description area, so you could kind of have a little more free form, anything you want there. And I don't know if maybe you're talking about the way Telegram does it, where you can essentially see the history of someone's profile picture. We are going to be doing, and maybe that could make sense and be integrated when we do the flags, which, the design's been out there and discussed. It hasn't made it into the priorities list yet. But there should be, when we release chat. And by the way, it looks like something to note. When we release chat, it'll probably be just layer chat to make sure that it's operating smoothly to start. And then we'll figure out when we bring DMs and group chat in, because there's more interface to those, obviously, selecting who you're going to talk to and everything, finding people. So we might hold those off and put up the new vote for priorities. And I would say if you wanted to see something like this with profile changes, it would probably fall under the flag feature, where it's essentially an identity feature for Den to make it more secure. So, but I do like that, because that is something that would be true. I mean, we don't even have a banner right now, right, for a user. So we should have a denizen banner. We should potentially let them, maybe we would let them post a small gallery, and maybe we would charge lower for that, or more energy. I don't know. But that could be pretty cool. So that's a good idea. Okay, so that's all of the AMA. Now we're going to go back to the updates here. Okay, so to close out, merch. So there's new Coffee with Den merch with a really, I actually want to know who did the logo, because I saw it, but I don't have it written down or noted. That logo is great. So go get some Coffee with Den merch. There is also new, as of last week, new DenDow merch. Go and get some of that. I need to order some of this. I haven't yet. And then Super Happy Dragon Lucky, where there is a special this month for any Super Happy Dragon Lucky merchandise. The code is SHDL 2022, which gives you 15% off until the end of March. See, I even have one right here, I think. In fact, this is the Mars one, I believe. So that's it. make sure you watch us again next week, next Tuesday, same time. Make sure you watch the World Blockchain Roundtable this Thursday. That should be a really fun episode. Follow Dragonchain, Real Denizens, and Shoujo Row on Twitter and everywhere else. And like, comment, and definitely share the show. Thanks a bunch for watching. See you next week.
Now, more than ever, our data is at risk. Our supply chains are in jeopardy. Our systems are broken, and businesses feel powerless. Dragonchain gives you a different way, a safer way, a better way, and you have power over your data. Dragonchain gives you proof in an untrusted world. Build now at dragonchain.com. America's blockchain.